Okay, guys, if you didn't know already, there has been a lot of shakeup in the quantum world or quantum stocks. As we know, last year, towards December, I want to say between December 13th, December 14th, we seen quantum stocks go crazy, up 3, 4, 500%, especially after Google announced the new Willow chip that had the ability to do a lot more than what chips could previously do. But today, we had new information today that caused quantum stocks to collapse. Now, don't don't get too stressed out. It wasn't that bad, but it was a major. It did end up dropping. A lot of quantum stocks end up dropping 30 to 40% after Jetson, NVIDIA CEO, announced that, hey, this quantum technology won't be ready for implementation. He didn't say it wasn't like, I think the market was maybe expecting maybe 3, 10 years. He said not decades. He says decades plural means 10 is too early. He said 30 may be too long, so about 20 years. So we're talking about 2 decades before they'll be able to implement this technology. And the CEO of NVIDIA, he's really like a pioneer in that AI space and technology space. So he will have a good indication of a realistic expectation of when we could end up using these quantum chips or quantum computers in everyday use. Particular video, I'll go over all the news in details, and then I'll end up showing you some individual quantum stocks and whether or not I see this as a buying opportunity. But let's waste no time. Let's get into it. Okay, so let's first start off with the rise of it and a rise of like the quantum stocks end up happening from. So Google released what they call or announced the Google quantum computing chip, which they call Willow, would be game changing. Normally, computers are store information between ones and zeros, but with quantum, you could actually do both simultaneously. So this was something that it would definitely revolutionize the technology world, information processing speeds, and coming up with multiple, analyzing multiple scenarios simultaneously. So which would be groundbreaking. So stuff that it would take us thousands of particular years, that with the quantum it had the ability to drastic the time to years. Yeah, as this article states here. And as we can see, after that, we had stocks like quantum computing, D-Wave, Rigetti, all of them end up going up big time, up 400%. You know, everybody is definitely getting the traction. You hear a lot of the public talking about it, and it has been going up a lot substantially. Then we had, like I said, the reality check. The CEO, Jetson Hung from NVIDIA, announced that, hey, the quantum computing will not be ready between till 15. It says already, or he ended up saying that, hey, quantum computers are about 15 to 30 years away. Did not think investors or the settlement thought it was going to take that long, because I'm thinking investors was probably thinking 3 to 10, nothing over 10. So 15 to 30 years before you can implement it. A lot of times investors like, hey, maybe I got too excited. I don't want to be paying all this money for something that can happen 15 to 30 years. That's too long of a time frame. And then that's when you have reality set in. Now, even though they did drop substantially, it's not as bad giving this information, though, given this information, because a lot of these stocks went up 500, 600, 700%. So this is something that to me would be expected. Typically, whenever you have um, cutting edge technology, a lot of times this is normal behavior. Investors in the public um, jump the gun a little bit and get excited, and then the push it up the different company stock price. Investors expectations, especially with new technology initially, the expectations of when it can be implemented and when it actually the technology as far as the real time frame is off. And then a lot of times people get excited. Things will kind of go up really quickly, and then as time goes on, reality tends to set in, and then that's when the market end up correcting itself. And the question is, should you end up buying? And I'll end up telling you what I'm going to do regarding this. So one of the my long term plays, if you just wanted to, actually I'll go. If you just wanted to bet on the quantum sector, I would just go with the quantum ETF, ticker QTUM. So this can, so basically, I like these because if the quantum market end up winning, you're going to win because you have the ETF, you have the basket of the top quantum ETF stocks, so that as long as quantum does well, you does well. A lot of times what happen if you do individuals, the industry could do well, but you could just happen to pick the wrong company, or the company could go bankrupt. A lot of different things could happen. As far as valuations, most of them are not, especially that's specifically focused on the quantum level. Most of them are not even profitable yet. So there's not really a real way that you can really quantify them. I mean, of course, you can like just look at price action, which would be more like trading, but that's a whole nother thing. The ETF is only down about 5%. Now, as we can also look at the top 10 holdings, this is the top 10 holdings, but they also have a lot of Palantir, and they have a lot of other companies. So the ETF didn't actually do that bad. To 1 year, it was up 50. This was only up 53% from say a year ago this time, which is still pretty good. Dollar cost average, and then something like this would be more of my a long term play that I think would be a good strategy. So this is D Wave Quantum. So if we look at a year ago, it's still up 600%. You gotta remember, at November 2024, which was just about like 2 months ago, this stock it was a dollar. It was $1.13. So even after it goes down, well, this one's now is down like 27%. It's still up 600%. So it's not like this can't fall even more to potential $3, depending on what type, especially over time. If we don't see any, good news, or if it's not a lot happening in the field, or the overall market takes a tumble, we could definitely easily see this go down even more to possibly even $3 because of how much it went up at its quantum computing. This one's down 48%. But if you look at for the year, and I'm pretty sure you see the correlations. As much as it goes up, typically when things go bad, it's going to go down a lot more of common sense. So from a year, even after it's down 50%, it's still up 1,000%. So like just to put it in context, this stock was $1.35 November 7th. It went all the way up to $25.68. Then we got the news. Then it drops down to $10.25. After it dropped 40%, it's still up 1,000%. Now this one, and by the way, this is the one that they recently actually got a contract with NASA. Some of this particular technology is able to use, but as far as quantum computing, what everything is banking on to get to that level of the expectations as what's going to happen is still far away. Actually, correction, folks. This one was, I didn't look at, I clicked year to date, but I meant for 1 day it ended up dropping 35% for the D wave, or IQ 38%. And this one is still up 140% from the past year, or if you can think about it, from in that 3 month time period. So Rigetti, this is also one a lot of people following. Even after, like I said, let's see what Rigetti, down 43%. Even after that, after being down 43%, it's still up 800% from November time frame. Now, what I today I did end up putting some money in the I did end up putting, I believe, $100 here. Now, a lot of times with these individual stocks, I'm going to actually buy some, not a huge position, but buy some. A lot of times with these individual stocks, though, I'm probably going to more so pay on a short term gain as far as these individual stocks, and kind of really bet big on the long term ETF. So since we end up dropping a lot, I'm probably going to end up I'm putting $100 in here. Not too much, $100 here, in this one, and $100 here. I think I might have put $100 here as well. So more so small plays, because a lot of times what'll happen is once the initial reaction happen, a lot of times you can, maybe in that couple days later or the next day or two, we can see some of them end up recovering maybe 10-15% or like that. A lot of times something like that may happen, and I mean it continue, maybe in the longer term it can even push lower. But I'm going to start placing smaller bets on these individual ones. I'm actually putting my big long-term position in the quantum ETF. I think it's still way too early to know for sure. So I'm probably just going to, I might end up dollar cost averaging in this one. If the other smaller ones drop even more, let's just say to maybe like $4, this one drops to like $4, or this one drops to $6, I'll increase my position. But right now it's still new. If this one dropped down to like $15, um, or if this one drops down to, I want to say, $3, I would end up picking up more. But it's still up substantially. That's why I'm not like too head over heels for like putting a good amount. A good amount is. But since we did have a nice little pullback, I definitely will start entering my positions. That's particularly it. I'll end up closing this video. If you haven't already, make sure you hit the like button. If you're new, make sure you subscribe to the channel.